I hope you will enjoy the last talk. Um, what is it about? I will tell you about how to start small. Community building is something that a lot of time starts with big projects, with platforms, with big strategies. There's nothing wrong, but in our experience, starting small is really the thing to start your community journey. This is an example. It's my payoff slide. We just recently launched a community, and we did a lot of experimentation. It took years to validate the idea of the community, to collaborate with those users, and after 3 months, there's an engagement rate of almost 70%. So people are staying engaged. They're in there, and this is only because we validated everything we did. We really tested it before we built it, and this was the idea. And there's a time, this is from the latest CMX report, there's less resources, there's less money and budget, everything is less, so we have to use those resources wisely. We have to make experiments, start small, don't waste time, budget, and resources, and that's the idea behind that. So the harsh reality in my business, and I launched a few communities in my career, is that around 70% of those communities won't survive. Some of them die early, and that's the good thing. If you do it like an experiment, if you didn't invest too much, some die very late in the cycle, and you know, it burns. It burns money, it burns resources, it burns us as community managers that we didn't succeed. So what community building needs is an experimental mindset. It's trying things out and not always going for perfect. One of the people I really like is Eric Ries. The only way to win is to learn faster than anybody else. Learning, trying out, that's the thing. So what's the experimental mindset? It's all about you faster to the market, so you can try out things on the fly. People give you direct feedback. You have limited budget and resources. It's not a problem. Sometimes I had projects where I had too much money and I had too much to build. I would be happier to have less and test the riskiest assumptions. You reduce the risk. If you invest 2 weeks instead of 2 months, you lose 2 weeks. But this is the learning journey. 2 weeks of learning instead of 2 months of wasting a lot of resources. It's more customer-centric because everything goes directly to a customer. It's validation. You get the direct feedback. And it's a continuous process. It's a continuous improvement thing that you have to do. So don't look at the QR code, but what's your style? How do you do your community work? You test like a scientist, everything is tested. Or you trust the vibe, it will be okay. Bit of both, or hey, I know what I do. Should I test? So who is A? Who is B? Who is C? And D? Cool. So I want to convince you to test more. So what we invented, I invented something. We call it the lean community cycle. Why we did this? Because I'm a psychologist. I use design thinking, lean startup in the innovation area, and we always tested our assumptions. We always tested our products, and I tried to bring this to the community sphere. So what is this? It's 7 steps. It's the beginning, it's define your purpose. Then you do research about what you defined. It's assumptions that you want to get more data on. Then you validate and test the riskiest assumptions of what you do. Then you have all the data, or most of the data, to decide and invest. Then you have to build this thing. You have to organize the team, the resources, and everything. You have to measure your success, and you have to scale. You don't have to scale, but a lot of communities start to scale. You start with a support community. At the end, you have an ambassador program. So this cycle goes again, because if you start from a support community, you want an ambassador program, you have to do this again and again. That's the thing, and that's why it's a cycle. So who are we? We are Glowing Blue. We are in Switzerland, so we have currently around 30 clients. We have 3 million customers in our portfolio. Not customers, community members. And we do this every day for different customers. So what's the first phase? It's decide and invest. And this thing looks very similar to other things you saw, like the community canvas, but that's the thing you have to do first. Who are my users? Why are they coming? How they will engage? But the thing is, and that's the difference, take it as an assumption and not as something you already know. I mean, you're all experienced, you know your business, you know a lot, but lean back and say, I think that this is true. I think that they want to engage on a Facebook group. I think that scientists want to do this and this, but take it as an assumption and not as a fact. Next phase, research. So take your assumption and look outside and inside. I see so many people that have community ideas, they never go to their colleagues. They never pitch the idea. They just do it in their team, whatever, but go inside, go outside. Is there something out that does same things? Does it work? Is it good? Can I copy something? And pitch your idea. The typical elevator pitch, you know, like 2 minutes in the elevator and say, "Hi, I'm working on this idea," and you will get so much attention from people. And I always say, list your first 20 to 50 users. Never start a community without having at least a list of your first potential users. You build the community with those first users and not with a platform, not with a strategy paper. It's really this small list of users. Next phase, validate and test. That's my favorite. So run experiments. Create a roadmap of experience. Verify your riskiest assumption in your business model. What's the riskiest assumption? That's something that has to be true that your community model works. You know, if you tackle a certain target group and you never talked to this target group before, you won't know. So try to invite first users to give feedback. We have so many communities where we did first round feedback. I have communities that are 10 years old, they're still the same super users. They say it's our community because I co-created it with you. So find those first users to collaborate, prototype and test. At the end, you have insights and data that helps you to make further decisions. And then you go to the decision phase. The decision phase is when you go to your management and say, okay, I had now 2, 3, 4, 6 weeks to experiment and do the stuff, but now I want real money and real resources. So, but you don't go with assumptions, you go with validated data. You go there and say, we tested it. And our experience, this works. It really works. This doesn't mean you need now $1 million. That's the same thing. You buy the biggest enterprise platform, stay small, stay lean, also in the next phase. But it's the next stage gate for your product. So have a pitch deck, have a draft of your business case. Business cases are overrated. I think 80% of the business cases I saw and I didn't work out the way that were created. You know, it's because it's also a lot of assumptions. So do it high level, do how you think it is, and it's also something you validate in the journey. So you have a solid foundation now for your community project. So what's next? Organize and build. Find a community manager. Also there, we saw so many internal people that are passionate about communities, that are already in communities. In-source, see if you find people that would participate in this, or go in the outside world. And now create your minimal viable project community and create. What's a minimal viable community? That's the first version of your community that gives you the maximum amount of learning. You want to start small. You want to establish a home base for some users. You want to attract the first users and they can further develop with you. You want to engage the first users. Do it on a specific topic. Don't do everything. Just say, I want to target this and this group, scientists in this and this area, play around with them and see if you can scale it to the next level. And all of this is about learning. Running experiments within this. That's the MVC. And then measure and optimize. One day, your management will ask, so what do we measure? What's in there? So you have to prepare some of those goals and KPIs for 3, 6, and 12 months. If you have listened to Brian's talk, copy it. But set it up. Do a high-level roadmap. Tali was telling an amazing story about road mapping. taking the input of the community, making roadmaps transparent, and create also a backlog of further tests and experiments and hypotheses. That's very important. After that, you have a clear data-driven roadmap. You have tests, you have feature sets, and you can go with this. And the phase 7, it not always happens to every community, but it's again starting over. It's starting over with the same thing again. We had so many communities again that started as a support community, then there are a product creation community, then there are an ambassador community. There are different communities within the community. You manage different, they have different stakeholders, they have a different thing, but they're run in one kind of ecosystem. And there you have to be also kind of, okay, I have to lean back again, do this research again, do this testing again. That's the idea behind. So this is all theory. It's not true. No, it's true. I'll give you some examples. So we do it again and again. This is an example of a electric power telecommunication company in Switzerland. They wanted to go into community. They had two different ideas on community. They couldn't decide, and we said, anyway, you have to test it. Test the assumption. What we just did, very easy. We did a landing page. We wanted 100 signed-ups in 3 weeks. We did Facebook ads. We want only 1% conversion. We did pitch on an event, on a special event about sustainable energy, and we went to the people and asked for a sign-up rate. So what we did, run this experiment, and we found clearly that one of those value propositions, this is only a value proposition, it's a website, it's an idea, had the higher conversation rate. So it was always 3%, and we had a 75% sign-up rate. So people really liked the idea. And this was this next step for the management to say, okay, further invest, try it out. Another example, validation of the community idea. You can ask the person who's in the room who started all this. So there was the question. It was already a big community, and the client, Victorinox, wanted to take it closer to them. So they wanted to do a branded community with a special feature. It's called collection, whatever. So what we wanted to know is, can we attract those users? We wanted to know, because they want to do product development, product co-development, are the stakeholders in product, are they open to do that? You cannot imagine how many community builders started an ideation process, a product ideation phase, without really consulting the product team. So we did those experiments, and also the hero feature, the collection feature, where they can add their items, knives, it's a collector's thing. We really wanted to test it, and the assumptions were validated. So, and the community launch was a huge success. You can ask Jessica, she's in the left corner here. It was amazing. We knew with experiment this thing will rock, and it rocked, really. It was really an amazing launch. Another example, co-create your community. We have a client that wanted to make a book lover community. Oh my God, another one. There's already some. So we started a really rough prototype of the community. We had early access invite codes. We went to booksellers, asked them to test the feature, write reviews, rate the books. We asked the community to vote on the design, even on the name of the community. And since then, co-creation of features. There's a bookshelf, there's a reading round, there's so many features that all co-created with the community. And Switzerland has 8 million inhabitants. Within 1 year, we had 10,000 registered users and a 30% engagement rate. It's amazing. 30% of those users go there every week posting something, active posting. So it's super engaged, super friendly. It's amazing. Another thing, another client of us, he has the problem the community is super successful in the outside world. They have 80K users, again, small country. But if you in the office and ask someone, do you know community? He says, community? Never heard. So we did an experiment asking 10 people if they know community. Maybe one knew about it. And what they need is internal stakeholders seeing the value of the community. That's never happened. So it's this dedicated small team that works on it. It's amazing. They work with custom support. They say they support it, but everybody else doesn't know it. So First hack, they did a big screen on the office, on the main office, feeding community data. People still go in the office. So, and then suddenly people say, I saw this screen in the entrance. What is the community about? This is really interesting what I saw there. So, first round. Second round, it's only a prototype. We took OpenAI, took the API, feed it community data into the model, and now those product managers, the marketing people, they can ask, how often was my product mentioned? Was it positive or negative? Give me a summary. They have now accessibility on the data. It's not a report, it's really real-time data in the way we learn to access it in 2025. So it's really, really, really powerful. Moderation, we have another client, also ChatGPT, a moderation Dell. Auto-moderation with AI. This is a 4 days prototype, and it saves them 60% they have 1,000 posts a week, and it saves them 60% of their moderation. It is auto-moderated, the rest goes to the queue, they do it, that's it. Another one was a poll feature. A poll feature where we wanted to say, how can we attract users that normally don't go to the community, that don't post, that don't ask questions? Low-level engagement. Sometimes sometimes say that it's not of value, but we wanted to test it. So we did a first prototype of this, had amazing content, and in 1 day we got 1,000 registrations. This thing was in a newsletter, 1,000 registrations. Normally they have 1,300 the whole month. And the engagement rate was higher afterwards. Some of those users were really still active. But what happened? We wanted to know if we can attract users that normally do not use the community as they use it. It's a total target group, really low-level engagement, and it works out. Another thing, and then I'm finished, it's auto-translation and integration of the community. It's a bigger project, but we iterated it. We really iterated. So Switzerland has always 4 languages. So it's German, French, Italian. English is also very present, a lot of expats. So now you can post in one of those communities and the content is immediately translated. What happened? Super users are answering now German super users are answering now French questions. We have 50 super users in the community in German, we have 3 in French. Now we have a big bunch of around 30 super users that do answer across all languages. We also entered the community content to the website. We did it first as a widget with the content, but now you can post directly on the web page, and those posts will scrap the product information, and then they're in the community. And people that never want to go in a community, it's an isolated space in a way. They're on a product, they have a question around the product. Oh, I can ask something, it goes to the community, the super users answer within 5 minutes, and they get an answer, and it's displayed again on the product page, and not in the community. They never have to jump to the community. And there were several iterations. This is a prototype that is in place, but the idea was really scaling the community beyond this isolated support space, bringing it to the product question area, and make it accessible for all languages. But it's not always a success. This is an example of a hearing impaired community. So we had a developer who was hearing impaired. He did this a few hours. It was amazing. He attracted a few hundred users. You know what happened? He started to be a cook. He didn't want to develop anymore. So he went away and the community died. But the thing is, he still is in contact with a lot of those people. They meet still offline. So he created this community, but the resources were gone. It was a non-profit project, but it took us only a few hours, and we gave him 2 hours a week to work on this for a few months, and it was already a success, but it's not always long-lasting. So what are the key takeaways? Do more with less. Our budgets are shrinking. Try really to experiment. Failing is not bad. If you fail fast, if you fail with not too many resources, it's really okay. Adapt your experimental mindset. Think about an MVC. We love features, we love designs. At the beginning, you need this. You don't need this. You need to know if they want to engage. You need to know if this works. use the data and empathy, it's important. Talk to the users, go out of the building, and yeah, iterate, iterate, and iterate. Thank you very much.